I'd like to know who made that mess. Would you look at that? Oh, this is what happens on the lower end of the mill. This is where, boards that are too thin or they're cracked or whatever it might be, odds and ends, they end up. Then they go on the forks there and get put aside. This is lumber that we used to build those boxes over there to keep firewood in. We got the deck loaded up today. Let me turn you around here. You see me? Let me move this over a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna cut some more 2x6 poplar. I go on about poplar. It's probably not one of your prettiest woods. It's not bad looking, but boy, does it saw nice. It's just one of the nicest sawing woods that you'll have. The logs I bet you 90% of the logs you get at poplar will be just about as straight as you can ask for. And a straight log, like I say, is going to yield you the most lumber. So it's a good, and you'll cut a lot of grade out of poplar, a lot of good grade. They usually don't have many branches and they're never down low. So your first one or two logs, sometimes even the third log up, you're getting some nice good grade poplar out of it. But that's what we're going to get on to today. And while I'm thinking about it, let's see. Can't ever have too many pockets. I just love them. Got a couple super thankses here. Oh, Don Holton, as usual. Thanks, Don. And they write this down for me. Because if they didn't, I wouldn't remember. All right, let me get it back on the camera here. Scott S. I thank you, Scott. That's kind. It's always kind of you. And like I said, Don Holton, as always, and all the rest of you for the super thanks. I guess we should get a quick word of the day in before we get started here. Let's see. Wealth. That's a good word. That's a good word. It's often mistaken what wealth actually is. If you got another 30 seconds, I'll tell you a story. Got to go with that. Oh, years ago, many years ago, I was going to buy a first house. It was just a shack, and I thought I was doing all right. So I get my paperwork together, and I go to the bank, and I walk in, and there's a young woman there, and she said, could she help me? And I said, yeah, I want to borrow some money. I'm going to buy a house. Well, she said, okay, come in and sit down. She seemed happy enough about that, and I gave her my information, and she looked it over at the desk there as she wrote it down real quick, and she says, I'll be back in a minute. And she got up, and a few minutes went by, and she came back, and she sat down, and she had a whole big handful of papers. I said, well, this looks pretty good. She laid them out in front of me, and she says, these are some things you might be interested in. You can qualify for this, and you can qualify for that, and they were forms that you'd send in for somebody to pay some of your energy or for a food voucher there, and I didn't understand what she was saying to me. And I said, well, what about the loan? And she says, well, don't you realize that you live in poverty? I guess I had no wealth by her standard. And I thanked her, and I left, and I thought to myself, how could I feel so good about things in my life and not have any wealth? But anyhow, I eventually borrowed the money somewhere else off of a friend, and I bought the house. But it took me years to understand what wealth was all about. It wasn't about a new house. It wasn't about a new truck. It wasn't about all these material things that we we have in life. I had true wealth. I had friends, good friends. I had family, good family. And it took me years to understand that that's what wealth was. It was the people in your life. So when you think you don't have anything, but if you have those I just mentioned, you have all you need. Oh, I guess I jabbered on long enough. I guess I better get the saw in here and eventually get this mess cleaned up. And if you liked it, subscribe, give me a comment. That's always greatly appreciated. And I hope I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Cold, windy day. Not enough help though. We got Mark, T.H.E, Mark, Doug, Mark in the cab. See if we can't make up some 2x6s. Get close to finishing this order. Make sure she's flat up against the knee. Oh, excuse me. Down to 6 inches. Now we start peeling some off. what they call tension. Had a lot of tension in that log. You see what it did? Every log has tension, just how much and where. Let's see if we can clean that up. This apron, I'll take it off. It keeps on falling off today. couple logs, a few more 2x6s. We're gonna get on to a little bit of edge in here. I'll be right back with you.